I think what's most important is to surround yourself with the right people. Like, I've seen how a difference it can make. Like, your inner circle can make you or break you. So Green Push is something that came when I arrived in Singapore. I started being very frustrated by seeing like so much plastic around me. And then back to community, I started surrounding myself with people who were actually taking action, who were change makers. And that helped me a lot in, like kind of removing all that eco-anxiety that I had, and actually feel like I had this sense of belonging, that I was part of a momentum and community of people also doing things, which actually pushed me to keep going.
Welcome to Shiko, Alya.
Thank you.
So glad to finally meet you in person.
Thank you, Shreya, for this invitation. And this is my first in-person podcast, so what an honor
Amazing.
to be here. So as you said, a lot of people refer to me as a positivity queen, and that's something that actually came recently. It's from my friend Stephanie, who introduced me like this on stage. And I thought, oh, wow, that's how people see me. That's amazing. And I think it has just been part of who I am from when I was a child. My dad has like repeated to me the sentence, keep smiling, I think probably a billion times. And I think that's how I fostered this positive mindset of, like life, yes, it's made of challenges, ups and downs, but positivity is about knowing that better days are coming. So I always try to see, what's on the bright side of anything, and kind of seeing the glass half full and not, half empty. And yeah, I think that's just part of my identity. So now I'm kind of fully embracing it. And in terms of my own journey, what brought me here in 2025 is very broad, but maybe I can start from the day I left France to come to Singapore. So I'm originally from Morocco, but I studied in France. And I took a one flight ticket to come here. I was working with Air France. And at that time, my now husband, but my boyfriend at the time, wanted to move to Singapore. He was just very attracted to, the country, the culture. And I thought, you know what, why not? And that he planted the seed, but the knowing and that belief that I could do it, like I so wanted to move that honestly nothing would have stopped me at that time.
I absolutely love in terms of how you were self-reliant and took the plunge despite of like what the society and everyone else says. And there's so much little that we can control in terms of what other people want you to do for yourself, right? So that brings me to my first question that I would want everyone to know in terms of why, or rather what do you think is important for an ambitious woman such as yourself to be self-reliant and be that positive self to show up for themselves every single day?
I think what's most important is to surround yourself with the right people. Like, I've seen how a difference it can make. Like, your inner circle can make you or break you. And if you're surrounded with people who, if you say something a bit crazy, or like, I don't know, I want to start playing an instrument, and you hear around you, your inner circle say, oh, really? Why do you want to do music? What about it? Like, they keep doubting you, then maybe you're going to start doubting yourself, even though you didn't have those doubts, right? But if you surround yourself with an inner circle and people who are actually lifting you up, supporting you, cheering you on, I really believe that this is the key to keep going, to grow that self-confidence, self-belief. Because like, yes, I have a lot of belief in myself, but also I have moments where I doubt myself a lot. And I'm like, what am I even doing? And what's the impact of it all? And I keep like having that inner critic come back. And what keeps me grounded is, the women who are surrounding me, my husband, my family. And I think that's really important, to be very picky on who are these people that you consider, close friends, who are in this inner circle that you can trust, and that can help you keep, leveling up in your life and going after your goals.
That's beautiful. Thanks for sharing, Alya. And it's interesting because you took that plunge to come to Singapore, obviously with like a great sense of purpose as well, to follow your heart, which back then was your boyfriend and now is your husband. And that also helped you to create two ventures that I know that you've created in Singapore. So one was the Green Push, and which is about conscious sustainability. You've also lived across different cities and different countries as well. And right now you're launching Positive Push, where you mentioned that you want to imbibe that sense of authenticity amongst women. There are lots of women such as myself, and we were talking about this yesterday as well, that I feel that sense of like imposter syndrome, something that holds myself back. My inner gut is like my worst critique. Can you share a bit more in terms of how did you arrive at Green Push and Positive Push?
Yeah. I love how you reframed it. Definitely, it's a part of who I am for both. So Green Push is something that came when I arrived in Singapore. I started being very frustrated by seeing like so much plastic around me, and then back to community. I started surrounding myself with people who were actually taking action, who were change makers, and that helped me a lot in, like kind of removing all that eco anxiety that I had, and actually feel like I had this sense of belonging, that I was part of a momentum and community of people also doing things, which actually pushed me to keep going. So I created my first community in Singapore back in 2020 to encourage my neighbors to stop wasting and start sharing more. And that, gave me that confidence that I had, this gift of bringing people together, creating community. So I started hosting workshops. I even like opened my home during COVID, of course, with the limitations that we had at the time, to show how, to make your own cosmetics at home. And then this led to my first corporate workshops. I started being invited to, host a talk with an NGO or host a talk within a bank to teach the employees how to, I don't know, reduce their waste, for example. And I was like, oh, wow, that's super nice. But like, all of this is for free because I'm tied to my visa, obviously.
Yeah.
But that gave me a lot of like good energy and really this feeling of, wow, this is really what I'm meant to do now. And I believe that, as humans, we all evolve with time. And, as we grow, as we learn new things, as we meet new people, as we discover ourselves more as well. And I kind of like just decided that I was not like, my identity was not my job, and my identity was, it's much bigger than your job. And I think a lot of people do this mistake of, we like shrinking themselves and their job title. And I never managed to do that because I was always someone who loved to do many things. And even that question of like job title, if you like fill in an immigration card, has always been hard for me to like answer into one word. And so back in 2021, we left Singapore. We went to Bali for a few years. And that's a story I shared in my TEDx, is when I arrived in Bali, I realized how, unfulfilled I was in my past job. And I think there was this part of me, my heart, my gut feeling that really wanted me to pursue my work in sustainability and like take it to another level and keep, doing this work when it comes to empowering people to take climate action. But there was this, logic in my mind saying to me, oh, come on, like you have a nice job and they allow you to work remotely. So what are you doing? Why do you want to quit? And so it kind of, I had this battle internally for a year, which is long. It's like 12 months.
Yeah.
I caught myself sending messages to people saying like, hey, I want to shift in sustainability. And then this part of me, the logical part of me, decided like not to listen to that and keep doing my work with my previous employer. So it was weird because for a year it was hard for me to like just have that honesty with myself that this is where I wanted to go. So yeah, long story short, I took the leap in 2022, so 3 years ago today. And I just shared with my network that I was launching Green Push, and I honestly didn't know at the time what it was. I just like created a logo and I posted on LinkedIn and I just said, hey, like this is what I'm doing. And then a friend of mine, Caroline, she was like, oh my God, that's amazing. Well, let me recommend you to this and this and this person. And then another lady recommended me to another corporate. And that's how I started, My journey was like, I didn't feel ready at all. I didn't even know what I was doing. But I had a mentor, thanks to a program that I joined with WWF, that helped me like really structure and, start knowing where I was starting, and helped me also kind of stop spreading my energy and really like center myself. And that's why I discovered the power of mentorship and how important it is to ask for help, to be guided, because there's so much you can do on your own. But by being, mentored or coach or anything that, makes sense for you, that helps you so much, making sure that you avoid unnecessary mistakes, you feel supported as well along your journey. So this is something that I've been doing for 3 years, and 2.5 years ago, I would say, I started more informally empowering women to do the things that they wanted to do, because I started meeting a lot of women who shared with me very openly, oh, Alya, like I would love to do this, or I'm a painter at heart, I want to start doing more art, or and then they wouldn't do it. Like they would share with me like all their excuses, and of course underlying was a lot of fears, and how they were not like, who were they anyway to do that anyway. So I started empowering them, cheering them on, encouraging them, and giving them this natural positive push. This is how I called it, because I really believe that sometimes that's all you need, is a little kick from someone who's like, wow, amazing. And you're like, what? Really? Okay, sure. And then you really believe that you can. And that's what happened to me when I decided to quit my job. I called my mom on the phone and I told her, look, I'm quitting my job to do my own thing. And she was just like, oh my God, amazing. Like, go for it. I believe in you. And just hearing those words, like, honestly, it just put me in that state of like, of course, yes, like this is totally something I can do. And that's why I said like the inner circle is so important, because it can like literally make or break you. And thanks to that, I gained that confidence. I started mentoring more women one-on-one. And today I kind of formalized it a little bit more, sharing it, to the world, saying that yes, I'm running Green Push, but I also have this venture Positive Push. So today I mentor women one-on-one, and I created the circle more recently, where you're part of, and now I'm also launching a program to have a bigger impact on more women.
I love that, and how every single part of your life has beautifully come to this chapter of yours that you're currently creating. It's amazing. Some of the words that I hear from you is like the sense of community, the power of community, that you need to choose the right kind of people, because like that's one choice that we have. Who is it that we surround ourselves with? Secondly, that it's okay to feel that you're not enough. I think that normalizing that is also important, because sometimes, and this I've seen with a lot of highly ambitious women, that they struggle with. And then they're also fearful to share this with other people because of that sense of fear of judgment. So it's fine to feel that you're not in that place. And it is really important, the third thing that I realized, to ask for help. Because that's what would really help you to validate your ideas, and B, to also feel comforted and not feel that you're alone in this journey of self-doubt as well. So I really appreciate the way that you've created this, and I believe that it's more and more important for us women to rely on each other, stand up for each other, and what you're creating is so exciting. Which brings me to the next thing that I want to know, that how is it that an ambitious woman who's sort of sitting on the edge, and all of our listeners love that step-by-step approach as well, is what I've realized, that when they're sitting on the edge, they're waiting to take that plunge. You also mentioned that you had a stable job, but you also seeked for independence and something that you wanted to create in terms of a purpose, right? So the constant fight of between like the purpose and the stability, how is it that you feel that someone who's sitting with an idea for a long time can take that plunge?
Yeah, that's a very good question. And I think it all depends. Every situation is different, of course. And I'm not here to say, go and quit your job and take the biggest risk of your life. But I would go back to what is it in your heart? If your heart is telling you, oh, yes, I want to do this, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to like put aside your life to do it. You can literally build anything, create anything on the side of anything. That's why I believe in, because I don't believe entrepreneurship is for everyone, but I really believe that everyone can do way more than their job, because especially when you feel a calling, even if it's something as I mentioned, when I opened my home for women to teach them about cosmetics and like natural ingredients at home, it was something that I really felt deep inside of me. And I just did it. It was like a tea time, 5 women. And that kind of gave me a confidence that, I'm someone who can teach. I'm someone who can facilitate. I'm someone. So even like doing small things like this can give you so much fulfillment that then you never know where it will lead you, of course. But I would highly encourage anyone to, if they have this feeling of being on the edge, or I really want to do this but I'm scared, or this, or finding all these excuses not to do it now, I would highly encourage you to start with that first tiny action, that like something that stretches you out of your comfort zone. Maybe it's not too big, but it's like big enough for you to feel like scared and excited at the same time. And I think that's an amazing feeling, because it really means when you have that excitement while being scared, really means and proves that you can do things, but it shows that you can go outside your comfort zone, and gives you more confidence as well. And then you never know what it can be the start of.
Yeah, for sure. I think so. Basically, people should identify like their purpose, and then maybe even 30 minutes a day, 1 hour a day, 2 hours a day, and then they can just sort of figure out how is it that they want to reach their purpose. Then it may also be clear to them that this is not necessarily the end goal that they want to do, or that may also ignite new ideas for them, that how is it that they perhaps want to grow this, and that would perhaps feed them into confidence that they can take that bigger step of doing that full time.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I would call it like a purpose, because I feel like there's so much pressure behind, purpose, or the word passion, or, it's almost like if you don't have that, then, oh my God, like, am I normal? Am I not normal? Like I hear that as well. Like, Alya, I don't have passions, and I'm just like, go back to your hobbies, go back to things that feel natural for you. Like when I mentioned building community or bringing people together, it honestly feels effortless. Like for me, I can do it on the weekend, no problem. I don't feel like it's work. So, ask yourself, if you had to volunteer somewhere, where would it be?
Right.
If you had to help someone on something, what would it be? And like without doing it for the money. So it's kind of like finding those things that fuel you in a different way, fuel you in terms of energy, it brings you a lot of joy. You feel like, oh my God, it's something that feels very natural to me. And it doesn't have to be as big as like a purpose in life, like I wouldn't say that building community is like the purpose of my life, but it's something that I enjoy doing so much that I do, and then giving it time and space. And I mean, depends on everyone, how everyone is functioning. If it's good for you to say, I'm going to dedicate a bit of time every day, then great. But at the end, what I would encourage is take that very first action. And action doesn't mean like planning, you can write as much as you want on your notebook. It doesn't mean that you're taking action.
Right.
Taking action means actually doing something that will like stretch you out of your comfort zone, even if it means telling a friend about it. You know what I mean? And that's already like a first action, and that first action will create momentum for yourself, because you start doing the first thing, and it will lead to another, and it will lead to another, and then that's how you can create momentum as well for yourself. And that's something that I keep doing in my life. Like, for example, we're organizing a dinner in Singapore, Higher Self dinner. Very first time doing it. And it's like reminding yourself that there's a first time to everything. Like, also go back if you're doubting yourself or you're not feeling that confident. Go back to certain things that you're doing now, very good, and that actually you had the first time to it as well. Like, it can be, related to your job. It can be related to your personal life. Like me, I had to, if I think about it, there was that first community that I created. There was that first event that I had to host. There was that first public speaking engagement. You know what I mean? Like that there's a first time to everything in life. Absolutely. And I think that first time, maybe it's not the one you're the most proud of. Like, honestly, if I show you the slides of my very first webinar to help people like to take embrace a more sustainable lifestyle, if I show you the slides, I'm honestly ashamed today. But if you don't feel ashamed, means something's wrong, it's normal, because you had to start somewhere anyway. Absolutely. And it's about being kind to yourself as well. But at least you can be proud that you have tried, like anything. And then if it doesn't resonate the way you want it, that's also fine. If it's something like, even if one person showed up, that's already something to celebrate, because absolutely. I think a lot of people spend too much time thinking of the results, or like, oh my God, but what if this and this and this? Look, like the way I would reframe it is, let's say you're building a community, like the community for my neighbors. I was honestly happy just to have like 5 people in it. Like, and then what I didn't see and think about at that time is that 5 people would eventually bring more people and more people. And today we're 230 or 50 people there. But it started with that first, person saying, oh yes, I would love to join. Okay, I can sign me up, for example. So I think it's also going back to, yes, actually, no, you know what? There's a start to everything. let's take it one step at a time, and there's no need to have like, you know, a lot of pressure on you from the beginning, because otherwise you freeze and then you're like, okay, what's the point of it all? And you might just abandon, you know, which
Yeah,
is what
no,
we
for
don't
sure.
want.
And one thing I really like what you said, that it's all about the input and
Yeah.
not necessarily worry about the output.
Yeah.
And a lot of us do that. You're absolutely right. That we constantly worry about like how would this be perceived, how many
Yeah.
number of people would show up. But it's all about making impact even in that one person's life who would go
Yeah.
back and change, or who would go back and do the kind of thing that you're inspiring other people to do.
Yeah.
That would really help. Love this conversation with you, Alya. Thank you so much
Thank you, Shreya.
for sharing your joyful, positive self. One piece of wisdom, one piece of advice, one piece of anything that you've learned along the way. And as you said, like, you know, growth is the only way that we can move
Yeah.
forward. It is important for us to look back and sort of cringe at a few things that we've done in the past, but that also means that we're growing. One thing that you live by, perhaps right now, and it may definitely change next year, but right now.
Wow, there's so much to share. So much to share. I would just say trust yourself. Keep surrounding yourself with people who are cheering you on, and go for it. Whatever that is, go for it.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing, Alya. I've loved this conversation with you. And this has also given me so much of confidence in terms of some of the things that I think about, even like with the podcast as well, like how big do I want this to be, the kind of people I want this to go to, and everything else. But really great to hear in terms of the kind of work that you're doing. And thank you so much.
Thank you, Shreya, for having me today.